Topic of the
There's
week.
time now.
Remember, we're the IGN's PlayStation podcast. It's actually, a lot of people wrote in about the PlayStation commercial, Colin. The
Yay.
PlayStation Memories commercial going through from PlayStation 1.
Where's Sarah?
Well, she wasn't in this. She's in the far-flung future.
Where
this is a different thing.
the girlfriend, though? You guys did a whole rewind. You didn't mention that the girlfriend's dead at the end. It's the saddest thing.
Well,
We
she
couldn't keep up with all
Well,
the
we were
people
like,
that
are
did
they
it.
sisters? Remember, that was the other. Or is that the sister? We couldn't figure this out. This is a very open household. It's just like having all the teenage kids go up to the freaking house, and then the dad's just walking by in his sweater.
I love the dad one.
I will embed this Rewind Theater in the Podcast Beyond article on
So
IGN if
good.
this makes sense. Jonathan writes into Beyond at IGN.com and says, Beyond.
Beyond.
While watching Sony's new PlayStation commercial, I couldn't help but feel nostalgic. But it also got me thinking of the PlayStation's future. Do you guys think the PlayStation's glory days are behind them, or is the best still yet to come? Can Sony recapture the magic of the PS1 and PS2 days?
I mean, they're not going to. I mean, sales-wise, they're probably never going to capture the magic of the PS2 days. But I certainly think creatively and quality-wise, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like they're going to be on a high horse this time around, this console generation. Seems like they got all the positivity back behind them.
I mean, I'm super excited for Infamous. Infamous is among my two most anticipated games. So,
Yeah.
like, that I'm excited about. And I know, God, whatever, like, coming off The Last of Us, whatever Naughty Dog does next is exciting. Like, yeah, I mean, I think they could have a totally creative renaissance right now.
I know that Sony's they're in business to make money, but I do love the fact that since the beginning of this campaign, they've pushed for, hey, we game people, we love games, game, and look, nostalgic games that we loved, and here's some more games. And I mean, you guys picked out all the game references and also the pop culture stuff in the commercials, but they really have pushed that. I think that a lot of people get into this business because they enjoy games, playing them, and they. Boy, I am just screwing this up terribly.
No, you're doing fine.
A lot of people get into
the
this
hell out,
business because they enjoy
Haven't
playing
you done
games. I understand there's a very cynical into it, a business oriented, but I watched that commercial, and I lived in Japan when Mario's 25th anniversary went on. They ran these commercials on TV there that Sony just blatantly stole to make this, and it gave you that kind of warm, happy, good Nintendo-y feeling with the funny TV flicker and the blowing in the cartridge and the rest of that. Sony's doing something that previously I don't think they've done very well.
Right.
They're drawing on their custodianship again of game history. They're saying, "Hey, we are a force that forged this industry. We are part of the people. We are part of what made gaming what it is today, and we're embracing that, and we're going to bring your mind back to that." And I think that's a very good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the unknowns with PlayStation 4 are the most exciting things about it.
Yeah. Like, what are all those studios doing?
Sony owns 12 studios. We only know what a couple of them are doing. So, I mean, that's... Yeah, when you say Naughty Dog and Bend and San Diego and Santa Monica and, you know, Studio Japan and
I mean,
Polyphony and Cambridge and...
I think San Diego's a pretty easy guess. But
Maybe.
a
I mean,
soccer
San Diego has a history early in the PS3's life cycle doing other games, too.
yeah.
So, yeah, they'll make a baseball game. But I wouldn't be surprised if they made something else. And
Could be.
you know, Guerrilla's working on a new game. Media Molecule is working on a new game. There's like, everyone's upset because we only know about Infamous and The Order and now Drive Club next year as exclusives. But what's exciting is that there's obviously much more than that. We just don't know about it yet. They're being very smart, actually, I think, with not revealing too much right now because they know the fight has just begun and you don't want to
Finish the fight.
keep your ammo dry and shit like that. You don't want to shoot when you don't have to.
What's interesting now, though, looking forward to the PlayStation 4 being on the market, right, is the fact that when you look back through the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2, there's so much more competition now. You know what I mean? I wonder how many unified experiences there's going to be that really, like, you're talking about like Twisted Metal, right, where you could show a trailer for Twisted Metal to somebody and be like, you played this in college with your friends. Like, is that still going to be a thing where there's just like unified television experience where people are coming together and like, oh man, we sat there and we played this game of this PlayStation 4 game for hours and hours and hours, or is it going to be broken up that they played it on this and that and they played, you know, the iPad and they did that and blah.
But I mean, I think you remember, like, I mean, I have memories of playing Call of Duty with my friends in college. We weren't in the same room; we were just on headsets. But
Sure.
I mean, like, I think you can still, you know, create some similar magic, you know, by playing online as opposed to, you know, sitting on the couch playing Mario Kart or whatever as a kid.
Sure.
So I mean, I think so.
Okay.
Agree,
Fine, have it your
disagree.
way.
I don't know. I think with Twisted Metal specifically, like I just had a flicker of a thought of like if you had old college buddies that used to play Black in person or whatever on PS2, and then they're older now and they have kids and wives yelling at them and all this stuff, and they're over their headsets in their own houses playing the new Twisted Metal game, and you know, like recapturing those memories. I don't think it's necessarily the setup that's as important as the product.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's just like how many how many more games are there going to be, or in a landscape filled with games and people where they can play whatever they want at any time? Any kind of game you want is out, right? Are you going to have those Perfect Dark memories, or Super Smash Brothers memories, or Twisted Metal memories of just like this game defined this console for everyone?
I think it's harder now.
Yeah.
It's just that's just budgetary. I mean, the indie games help with that a lot.
Yeah.
And people willing to lose their shirts on things like Puppeteer, again, which we were saying, why would you do it earlier? Maybe it's just that. You want to make something wonderful, and somebody lets you, so you do, even though you know it's going to be a colossal failure. Because, is it a failure? Yeah, they lost a lot of money, and they made something wonderful. And the more people that keep doing that, the better memories we're going to have.
Yeah, and I think there's this common thread, because I don't think Twisted Metal was like a seminal moment on PlayStation for a lot of people. I think it was for some people. But I think that there's like that Perfect Dark or GoldenEye moment, or Smash Brothers on GameCube specifically. Those were like small groups of people that bought the console, that like those consoles didn't sell well, so the games that were really big on those consoles proliferated really hard. Like when you look at something like Ocarina of Time, that has an attach rate of like 3 out of every 5 N64s or something like that. That's an unheard of attach rate, but that wouldn't happen for consoles that were bigger.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if Sony wants that, because it means that
Interesting.
fewer consoles are being sold. When you have like very little to hang your hat on, like what's an example? Like even Saturn, like with Panzer Dragoon, or Knights into Dreams, or something, like games that people really like, or Shining Force, or whatever the fuck games people are playing on Saturn.
Radiant Silvergun, woo!
Radiant Silvergun, like these are games that people go back to because there wasn't much and not many people had them. you know? So like, there's they have to be careful with what they wish for.
Yeah.
I think because even a game like Call of Duty that will sell 8 million units on PS3 or whatever, that's only an attach rate of 1 out of every 8.
Yeah, it's just interesting to think about how this all goes. What would be moving forward for PS5's launch, right? Is it going to be then you see a trailer like a commercial like this, and it's Last of Us that people are there, and like, because that's a unifying moment in gaming, right? Where everybody was like, holy crap,
I mean, that's what's so interesting, right? Is that like as the medium has evolved, like Last of Us is creating these moments not of, hey, we're gathered around the TV playing, but it's almost like the way a TV show or a movie does. It's like these water cooler moments of like, oh my god, like that moment when this happened was crazy.
And it can be ridiculously powerful. When I first moved to Japan, I had the weirdest experience. I met my students, a lot of whom were about my age, and discovered that despite the fact that we'd grown up 5,000 miles apart on opposite ends of the world, that we had these shared childhood touchstones, mostly based around Nintendo, that I could sit and talk with these people about Mario or Zelda, or later on about Suikoden or Final Fantasy VII. And we would have these common points of conversations that would stretch for hours. People that I didn't even speak the same language as.
And you're like, I love Final Fantasy 3. And they're like, wait, which one? Which Final Fantasy?
Oh, yeah, there is that.
You're like, and then Doki Doki Panic was so good.
Yeah, they're trying to point that one out. Yeah, although they did they eventually got a release of Super Mario USA.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Podcast Beyond, episode 315. Remember, the podcast posts every Tuesday on iTunes and your favorite services, and IGN if you just want to go there and download it like a weirdo. But that IGN.com, that's what keeps the mics on, so go there. Read the articles, watch the videos, subscribe to IGN Prime, and you can turn off the ads you all hate so much.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.